And a very good Saturday morning to you. Just a little couple of seconds after 11 o'clock here on the West Coast. And it's time for another edition of Drive Time Radio. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride on this somewhat gray Saturday morning here on the West Coast. I don't know what it's doing all over the rest of the country. I know that I was looking at Cleveland before and it was cloudy. I had planned to actually go back for the eclipse, and things just didn't work out to make that happen. And I'm starting to think that I made the right call by not going back, because it looks like it's, weather is just, you're not going to be able to see it in a lot of places. Some places you will if you're headed toward the eclipse. I can't tell you from seeing the last one in 17, I guess. It was 2017. That was a treat and a thrill and something that you wouldn't want to miss if you could be there. I don't know how it's going to be if you're under the clouds, if you're even going to feel the effects of it, but I found it to be a completely unique experience. So if you're headed back there, or you're going back, or you're planning on going back east somewhere to see the eclipse, the good thing is you're going to be with a ton of other people. Because it seems like the entire west coast of the country is moving toward the east coast. Seems like the most popular place is where I was headed, Niagara Falls, because that's, I guess, kind of in the largest path of totality, and seems to be something kind of groovy. It really is and really was an experience, and if you can go and you can check it out. By all means, if you're one of them people that have more money than you know what to do with, and you want to jump on a plane and fly to Buffalo and get up there. Although I don't know particularly about Niagara Falls, because they say it's like going to be 3 million people. 3 million people at Niagara Falls. And I've been to Niagara Falls several times, and I'm going to tell you right now that it's not a place that seems like it would hold 3 million people easily. I mean, they know how to hold crowds, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. I just don't know how they're going to be with 3 million people. That's a lot of people, man. And that means that toilets and food and all that kind of stuff is going to be, well, not easy to come by. But the one thing I did experience the last time I went to the crowd, I went to a little town in, as I said, in southern Indiana, where they were saying it was the largest path of totality. I found people to be extremely friendly. We paid $5 to park on a field inside the town. And it was the high school practice field or something like that. And you could set up, you could camp, you could barbecue, you could do what you wanted to do. And it was sunny and beautiful. I was with my friend Lori, and we went and we saw it. And it was one of those things where you'll never forget it. So, like I say, if you have an opportunity to jump on a plane and go, do it. Take pictures. But Mama always told you not to look into the eyes of the sun. But Mama, that's where the fun is. But get the glasses. I know they're hard to get, but the cool thing about is, I didn't have the glasses the last time I went. I went to this town, and all of a sudden, like an hour before the eclipse, there's some person walking around handing out glasses to people. Just handing them out. Not charging $20 a pop or something like that. Just handing them out to people. Make sure your eyes are safe. Still have the glasses somewhere. Again, I said it was nothing but a great experience, except maybe the longest traffic jam I was ever involved in on the way back. I mean, we sat in traffic from Kentucky all the way back to almost the West Virginia line. I mean, it was the worst traffic jam I'd ever seen. And I mean, we were sitting there. We weren't even moving. It got to the point where people were actually pulling off to the side of the road and camping on the side of the road. People that had, camper vans and stuff like that. You just pulled over to the center divider or to the side and camped there. It was like, I mean, it was what Woodstock must have been, except eclipsed stock. All right, we got some good news for you coming up in today's show, and some bad news for you. Which one do you want first? The good news or the bad news? I'll give you the bad news first. What the heck? Why should we'll make you wait for the good news, because I know that you're gonna, you're without a doubt gonna love to have the good news. Gasoline prices. I went over to Costco. I usually fill up at the Costco gas station, and I went over there to fill up the the car I was driving last week, and which was the Honda Ridgeline pickup, which we're going to talk about a little later today, a little later this morning. I went over there to fill that car up, and I paid $1 more for gas yesterday or Thursday than I did 3 weeks before. So we are in for it this summer. If you're going to travel, because there are more RVs on the road, there are more travel trailers, gas is going to go up. And we don't know what the situation is going to be in the Middle East. I mean, all this insanity that's going on in the Middle East very well could result in an oil embargo. And the fact that we may be left here holding our hands on our butts when it comes to oil, when it comes to gasoline. Already we're seeing $6 and $7 a gallon prices in California. So if you're traveling down there for the summer vacation, Memorial Day, or whatever, wherever it is that you're going, other factors, of course, people traveling. A lot of people are driving to go see the eclipse. A lot of people have been on the road. And, the oil companies, they're not going to wait to start making their profits. If they know there's an event coming where there's a lot of people driving, it doesn't, they're not going to wait to make their money. They're going to strike while the striking's hot. Please don't send me comments about that this is Biden's fault, because it's not Biden's fault, just like the low prices weren't Trump's fault. It's the oil companies. It's supply and demand. If you want more gas, you're going to pay more money for it. The more you want it, the more you're going to pay for it. Got our buddy Lou Bucci this morning, who's Junior, who's listening to us out in Pennsylvania. Lou, I hope you're safe out there with all the flooding. But yeah, Lou, I mean, we may go back to a system of odd and even days. I remember that from the gas crisis in 73 and 74, where you could only fill up your car on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday if you had odd plates, or a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday if you had even plates, or some variation of that system. And that's when the siphon pump was the most popular accessory accessory that you could find. People were, siphoning gas out of trucks, out of the ground, wherever they could come up with gas. Stealing gas became an art in 73 and 74, even into 75, when the price of gasoline went up to $1 a gallon. Oh, my Lord. Oh, for those days again, right? But it was tough. So we're going to see that, according to the AAA and the different people I follow for gas. The average gas price in Washington right now, we tend to have high gas prices because we have high gas taxes. I think we tie with California as far as the highest gas tax in the country. Colorado has the lowest. They're in around $3 a gallon. We are $4.57 excuse me, 453 average in the state of Washington. That is what we're seeing. That's up from a month ago. It was $3.38 average. That's about what I was paying at Costco a little more than a month ago. And now we're looking at just a ridiculous amount of money. The national average today, is $3.59 a gallon, according to the AAA. $3.59. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona are all in the highest tier, as well as Alaska and Hawaii are all on the highest tier. If you live in Alaska, your average for a premium that you're going to pay is $4.60. If you're in California, $5.67. If you're in Idaho, $4.23. Colorado for premium, I'm talking about premium gas now, the highest grade, $3.74 in Colorado. If you're in, let's look at New York, which is usually a high, $4.32 for premium gasoline. Pennsylvania, $4.36. And I suspect that it would be more money in Western Pennsylvania because of the unique situation they have there without the number of refineries that are in a lot of other places. Pittsburgh is in a very unique situation of not of having to bring a lot of their gasoline in from the other side of the state, from Philadelphia, or from the Midwest. Now, I know that Shell had been opening up a large refinery there. It's at one point. I don't know whatever happened with that. But if you are one of those people who said, I'm going to hedge my bets here and go out and buy an electric car or buy a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid where I can go around town for an inexpensive price, for the price of electricity, you're looking pretty smart right now, and I think you're going to look a lot smarter as the summer driving season starts to get into full swing here, as we see from Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's when it really cranks up. And again, you can't blame Biden and you can't blame Trump for the gas prices. They are the oil company executives. They are, it's easy for them to manipulate prices. All they have to do is shut down a refinery for maintenance, and they raise their prices. They also have the thing with the summer blends of gasoline, which is supposed to be more expensive. I can tell you from experience, oil companies will screw you whichever way they possibly can. However they can figure out a way to screw you, they will. And that is part of why I advocate for electric cars. Because I think that you can at least free yourself up from some of the oil company hijinks. Now, then you got to deal with the electric company. But in places like Seattle, where the electric company is owned by the government, maybe you catch a break with some of the rates, some of the prices, and maybe you catch incentives and different things to buy electric cars. I know electric cars, people are down on them right now. It's range, it's this, it's that, it's politics, it's everything. But the reality is, this is going to be a time coming up this summer when you're pretty much going to appreciate having an electric car. Where you're going to look and you're going to say, pretty good thing I made the investment and bought this thing a couple of years ago or a year ago, or I'm thinking about buying one. Of course, you know what's going to happen. They're going to, the dealers now will jack the prices up on the electric cars. Although in watching our friends over at Car Edge this week and their look at the electric car scene, it seemed that there are a lot of electric cars to be had. If you like the Ford Mach E, there are tons of them out there, and dealers are incentivized to get rid of those cars, to sell those cars. So this may be a good time if you are thinking about buying an electric car to go check it out, to go take a look and see what kind of deal you might be able to swing. You don't have to buy it, but this might be one of those times if you're thinking about that second car, you're thinking about that car for running around town, you're thinking along those terms, this may be a good time to take a look at that. All right. Also, one of the other things that news that we ran across this week, which I think are going to make a lot of people happy, is yay Burgermaster. Now I love Burgermaster. I love I love their. My daughter and I, our treat is to go to Burgermaster and get the crab and cheese sandwich, grilled cheese and crab, and it's delicious. Their burgers are great. They come to the car and serve it. You don't even have to get out of the car. And it's not a drive-through. They actually employ humans to come out to the car and hand you your burger on a tray, which I love. It's a throwback to the old days. Well, the folks at Burgermaster have cut a deal to take over the Triple X root beer place in Issaquah. So that place, Triple X Root Beer, which is an iconic and treasured and valued place among automotive enthusiasts in the Seattle area. You go out there on a Sunday afternoon, and there are cars all over the place. Triple X, to go out there and to take a car out there and to participate in the car shows and just the wonderful stuff that would go on out there, and the the way people would get together around their cars and look at cars and talk about their cars, and everything was spectacular. There are different brands, Chevy, Ford, and I think they had a milk truck day out there one year. I mean, they really, and the people that ran the place were so nice. They wanted to retire. So I saw a story on King 5 this week that, and you can go to the website to get the totality of their story. Once I work totality in there. But the gist of it is that Burgermaster will take over that property. They're going to improve it. They took all the memorabilia out. They took the kitchen out, basically, sold everything. And so Burgermaster is going to go in there and redo the kitchen, redo the interior sitting area. And I think that what the plan is to send a Burgermaster food truck out there on Sundays and open up the lots so that people can, have the car shows and eat Burgermaster burgers very soon. I don't know the target date on that, but they think that by the beginning of next year, they will have a full operating Burgermaster / Triple X root beer, or / the other way around. I haven't heard any plans about changing the Triple X or the logo. Maybe it'll be something like Burgermaster presents Triple X root beer, because that was the last Triple X root beer in America. What used to be a chain was whittled all the way down to one. Now, if you drive around Puget Sound here, you see a few places that used to be Triple X's. There's one right up here on Highway 99. And there's another one down by the airport on Aurora, or whatever it is. I guess they call it the International Highway down there. So there are buildings still around that have the barrel and everything. So really, I think a great news for the hot rod, for the collector car community here in the Puget Sound. Now, I don't know if King Charlie's is doing anything around cars this year. Usually, I went to a great El Camino show up there a couple of years ago. Matter of fact, I bought the love of my life, my El Camino. Yeah, my daughter is the love of my, but you know what I'm saying. The car love of my life, my '72 El Camino. I bought it up there, and I know that King Charlie's up there in Snohomish does. People go up there and hang out, and of course, what's really taken over the industry, the car show industry, is Cars and Coffee, of which we have one right here in Shoreline that I've talked about many times, all around. One of the best Friday night car cruises I've ever run into was north of Pittsburgh. There was a church up there that used to have a cruise in on Friday night, and they were right up north of Pittsburgh, up by Jurgles, up there, and it was amazing. I mean, they would get, I don't know, 500, 600, 700, sometimes maybe even 1,000 cars. They had like 3 lots, and the place was loaded. Everybody came out to this thing on a Friday night. I love driving my Corvette up there or the El Camino and going up and parking it and just talking to people. And it was a place for the car collector community to hang out, to go, because it's not just about pictures of your car. It's about driving your car up there. It's about showing your car off to people, talking to people about how you build your car, what you do. I learned a lot about my car from going up to these different events and seeing cars and everything like that. So it was really they're great events. As I say, the one here in Shoreline, I know they have one up in Mill Creek as well. I'm sure they have them all over the place. And I know for a while, a few years ago, I was going down to Tukwila, and the Starbucks down in Tukwila there had a Cars and Coffee. It was going on Saturday morning. So if you want to go to a car show, you want to talk to people about cars, you want to learn a little bit more, go down to these different car shows, and you'll learn a little bit more. There's also a great Facebook group, Puget Sound Car Shows, and they kind of chronicle all of these different shows, and let you know where they're all happening. And you can kind of get an idea of whether you're into Corvettes or you're into Minis or whatever you're into. Believe you me, there's a group of people that are into it along with you. I even belong to the Humber. Bet you never heard of that one. The Humber group. There is a British car that was around in the it's been around for a long time, was around for a long time, called a Humber. And their big model was the Super Snipe. And that car, I got turned on to it because my cousin, Father Walter, had one. And Father Walter was a priest. That's why we called him Father Walter. And he brought this car. I don't know if he brought it back from England or he found it or whatever it was. But this was a mini Rolls Royce. I mean, it had that British leather interior and, the things that came down in the back so you could rest your drink on it. I mean, it was really a luxurious car. Beautiful car. It kind of looked a little bit like a really luxurious 55 Chevy. Anyway, this was a great car, and I've always been enamored. Yeah, you just don't see them. And if you see a Humber driving down the street, people are stopping and looking at it. What in the heck is that? But I got to drive this car. I got to, when I was a kid, I got to play in a, it was a part of my growing up, that Humber. I even got to fix it a few times and get it running again, which I don't consider a small accomplishment for a British car. I mean, anybody's ever owned a British car, and I've owned several of them. Not easy. Matter of fact, the only thing worse than a British car you could probably own to try to fix is a French car. Try fixing a Renault sometime. Boo! Or a Peugeot. Oh my lord, my lord, my lord. All right. What do you say we check out what's going on in my world this week as we throw this?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Thank you, Nathan. That's our good friend Nathan asking me what I'm driving this week, and I am driving a 2024 Toyota Tundra I-Force Max. Dude and dudette, this is a whole lot of truck. This is lots and lots of truck. This is a hybrid. It's a mild hybrid. They have an electric motor stuck between the engine and the transmission. But when you talk about looks and you talk about wide, I mean big, this Tundra, which was just redesigned a couple of years ago, really drives it home. I mean, it's got space inside and out. And some really cool things to go along with this truck. If you go for the Platinum Edition, which this one is, look at the interior. High-grade materials, lots of space. A big screen TV in the middle of the dashboard that allows you to, do just about anything you need to do in the truck on that screen. The only regret with that screen is they don't have a tuning knob. I mean, they have one knob for volume, but they don't have a tuning knob. And when you listen to satellite radio, you really want to be able to tune around to some of the stations. But when you talk about, and again with the I-Force engine in this thing, which just absolutely is a torque master. I mean, this thing will throw you back in the middle of your seat. The combination of the electric motor and the gasoline engine, the combination of them together, have phenomenal torque. They, the I-Force Max, which Toyota uses, and it's really an unbelievable vehicle. It absolutely, when you talk about a vehicle that will get you up to the top of the mountain, will get you where you want to go, and with a lot of sheet metal around you, this is a vehicle that you're looking at, and be fairly decent in the gasoline department. Because again, with the hybrid engine, this thing not only provides you torque, but it saves on gasoline. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a vehicle that you're going to, you're going to turn around and, and use gas with an eyedropper. It's a huge truck, pal. It is what it is. It's a huge truck. But when you look at this vehicle, the way the truck has air suspension in the back, and you can lift it up and rake it and give it that crawly look, it's an impressive truck. Now, the question I always have with trucks is, is it something that will force the GM, Ford, or Dodge customer to jump their brand and to go over and try a Toyota Tundra? They've been able to accomplish that to a certain degree, but unfortunately, brand loyalty in trucks is off the charts. I mean, it's really crazy when it comes down to looking at how loyal people stay to their trucks. I mean, if your grandfather drove a Chevy, if your father drove a Chevy, chances are you're driving a Chevy. The only thing that switches you out sometimes is if your grandparents or your parents drove an International and you really can't get an International pickup anymore. Or they drove, some other vehicle that was, kind of an odd or an orphan vehicle. If your grandfather and father had a Studebaker Lark pickup, well, good luck trying to find one of those. Or an El Camino. That may switch you out of a truck like that. But as far as hugeness, as far as sitting up and king of the road mentality and being able to sit up and have power when you hit the gas, a four-wheel drive system that is not automatic, that you have to switch into the way you use it, but will crush anything. I mean, this thing, you want to go over a hill, you want to go over Dale, you want to go over grandmother's house, whatever. This truck will take you there. It will get you there. And as I say, you can save some money on this thing. One of the things I really enjoy about this truck is they take a page out of the old 63 Mercuries, and the entire back window goes down. So you want to talk about airing a truck out in the back country, about opening up your sunroof, about opening up all your windows, about opening up the back window and getting some air in there. The Toyota will do for you. I don't know that any other brand has a complete rear window drop. So kudos to Toyota for giving you that. Many of them have the window in the middle of the rear glass that opens up. This one has the whole rear glass that goes up and down. I think it's cool. If you pick up a hitchhiker and they're in the back, you can talk to them. You're looking at $90,000 for this truck, though. Now, I'm pretty sure that I have seen a lot of trucks on dealers' lots, so I'm pretty sure that they're wheeling and dealing. But this is the Platinum. This is the big one. There's it has a nightshade package on it with black wheels. The biggest improvement, I think, in this vehicle for this year is there's a TRD, which is, the off-road package. This is a Platinum that I'm driving, which is a spectacular vehicle. Gives you everything you want, but it gives you a 3-inch lift kit in the back. You hit the button on the dashboard, it'll lift up for you. It has the downhill brake, which is available on anything. I drove one of these last year at Mudfest, which is our annual NWAPA NWAPA event where we compare all of these trucks. And I didn't even have to put it in four-wheel drive. I left it in two-wheel drive, and it climbed over every hill and every challenge that it was presented with. So we'll have a full report on this thing for you, but it's just one of those vehicles that you get in and you feel capable of taking on anything. Going up a hill, going down a hill, going over a fell tree, whatever you needed to do. The Toyota Tundra TRD is going to do it for you. You're going to pay for it, and you're going to have to put your brand loyalty sometimes over by the wayside. And you also have to ask your question, especially if you live in the city, is this too much truck for me? Which is a question that I think legitimately needs to be asked when you're going out and buying one of these things. Do I need this much truck? Or can I get along and do just as fine with a Tacoma or with one of the newer, smaller trucks, the Maverick, or one of those trucks? This thing is not easy to park, especially if you're trying to parallel park it. If you're in a parking lot parking space, it's wide, it's huge. It's not the easiest thing to drive down the street. And if you're sitting in the cab of this thing and somebody crosses in front of you, and it happened to me yesterday, where somebody crosses in front of you, and if they're short, you don't see them. So you got to take all of that stuff into consideration too. But if you need that big truck, the Toyota Tundra with all of the TRD equipment on it is something you definitely should be looking at. So that is the Toyota Tundra TRD, and a fine truck that, again, as I've been saying, is our Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Spectacular ride. I love this run. Uh, we talked about gas prices before, which, and you look at a truck like this and you say sometimes, well, Vinny, you're telling us about gas prices that are going through the roof here. Um, what are you telling me? On one hand, that I'm going to pay more for gas, but on the other hand, um, you should drive a big truck. No, what I'm telling you to look at on these trucks, if America has a love affair with pickup trucks. I don't think you're going to get people out of pickup trucks. Just don't think it's going to happen, at least for the present. Until gas goes up to $7, $8, $10 a gallon, I don't think you're going to be pulling people out of these to pickup trucks. But what I do see, and what I'm really interests me, is the fuel efficiency. Now you look at this Tundra pickup, and you immediately are thinking, huge V8 engine and this and that, but the technology has developed so much that this particular truck carries a V6, a twin turbo, and the most powerful engine drivetrain in these trucks is the hybrid. The hybrid gives you more torque than anything else in these particular trucks. And when you are pulling, when you are taking truck, when you're hooking up your, camper trailer to the truck, it's something you got to look at. How much will it pull? How much torque will it give me? How will I be able to pull stumps out of the ground with this thing? Part of what you should be looking at when you're buying a pickup truck. And also, what position will I be in if gas goes to $8 a gallon, or $7 a gallon, or $9? If we're going to start to get into that north of $5 a gallon gas prices, which we are approaching here very quickly. And Toyota and other manufacturers too. I mean, Ford has done it as well. And I'm just talking about ICE engines right now. I'm talking about internal combustion. I'm talking about electric. What these manufacturers have been able to do is take a V6 engine or a 6-cylinder engine and give it as much power as the traditional V8 engines that we were used to growing up. I mean, if you are a young car enthusiast today, you see 4-cylinder engines, 6-cylinder engines, and you go, oh, that's the standard. But when we were growing up, all of that power came out of an 8-cylinder engine. And you have to give the automakers a lot of credit in what they have been able to do. Again, nobody would go near a V6 truck, except if you were, like an electric company, or you were used as a fleet vehicle. But if you were looking for speed, if you were looking for pulling power, if you were looking for the kind of things that pickup truck drivers were looking for, you were looking for the V8. Well, now you look at the turbo V6 with the hybrid, and it gives you as much power. Again, the iForce Max 3.5-liter aluminum block V6, twin turbochargers, water-cooled intercoolers, 24-valve dual overhead cams, and it's amazing. 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. out of these engines. Now, you can't show me, and I know my pickups, and you can't show me something that would come off of the showroom floor that would be that quick. In a Ford or a Chevy of, I don't know, or a Dodge for that matter, of the 90s or 2000s or 2010s. Except if you go for like the Dodge, um, high end engines, the Hemis. They would come close to that, but they would suck gas down like it was going out of style. This thing is a low emission vehicle that runs on 87 octane. I mean, I've driven enough of those Dodges to tell you that they don't take kindly when you drop regular gasoline into them. Now, the factory says that the iForce Max will give you a 19 city, 22 highway, 20 overall mileage. I have not done a mileage test on this vehicle. I plan to do that tomorrow, so I'll let you know in my full review if that mileage stands true to what they're telling you. But it's impressive as far as running gear. I mean, we're not talking about interior right now. We're talking about just the getting this vehicle from one place to another. And, you couple that up to the 10-speed automatic, and you pull a house with this thing. And let's face it, I mean, I think that's coming with all of the vehicles right now. I don't think that there are, I'm impressed with Toyota getting what they get out of what they do. The other thing that's been interesting here with the TRDs is that they have put an off-road suspension in these things with coilovers and coil springs in the back and twin-tube shock absorbers. Basically, you're getting everything that you were going to go down to the store and get after you got your new truck delivered and slap in there. It now comes from the factory. And the good thing about that is that it's covered by the manufacturer's warranty. How many times did you buy a truck or a hot rod for that matter, and you made an alteration to it? You took it back to the dealer because something was wrong, and the dealer said, sorry, you're out of warranty. You altered the vehicle. Here, the vehicle is manufactured with the equipment in it. They take the risk, and they take your risk out of it. It's covered under warranty unless you abuse it. And I don't know. I think you got to go a long way to show that you're abusing a vehicle designed for off-road. But again, really very this truck, and we're talking pickups for a second. I know that there's a thing, and there's a guy on YouTube that I watch, and I really enjoy his stuff. He's called City Nerd, and he's on kind of this not crusade against pickup trucks, but he sees that the insanity of owning a pickup truck in a place like Seattle or New York City or a city that's crowded, and you got a big pickup truck. He sees the validity in the smaller pickup truck, as do I. I think that most people that buy these trucks, most people that buy them don't use the beds. They don't, As a matter of fact, the most practical pickup that I've seen, the two of them, are the Ridgeline and the Santa Cruz, because they have trunk space in them. You know, the Honda Ridgeline has as much trunk space as some of the Hondas do, the Honda cars do. And you can put stuff in there and lock it and hide it. It's not all sitting out. And I'm sure the thieves are going to get wise to the fact that there's that compartment in there. But it gives you options, not only for carrying stuff, luggage, and things like that in a place where you can't see it, but also you can have a heck of a tailgate party, or as I like to say with those Hondas, a trailgate party. You can have a heck of a trailgate party in these things. So, I'm just now Chevy this week, I guess, finally put on sale to the general public because they were having so many problems with it, the Silverado electric vehicle. As I always say, I'm not crazy about buying one of the first ones. I don't have to be an early adopter with a truck in the shop all the time. I'd rather be an early adopter with a solid technology. And we'll see how it goes with Chevy. They've been having a lot of issues around their electric rollouts, and that's no good for anybody. Uh, these electrics, and I know I tout the electrics all the time, but the electrics have been, I think, in my opinion, rushed along a bit because of Tesla and all the success that they have been having with their vehicles. And the other car companies saying, we got to get something to market before everybody goes out and buys a Tesla. And Elon Musk, because he likes messing with people, dropped the prices on the Tesla to a fairly low price. I mean, you can get into a Tesla for 60 grand, which I know sounds like a lot of money, but on the electric realm, it's not. Anyway, Chevy out with the Silverado EV. It gave Chevy a pass on the early because they obviously brought this car to market, this truck, I should say, to market, without it really being complete. And I think that's not a good thing. But they're under intense pressure from stockholders, from all these different people that want the electric vehicle to be here now and to be practical and for you to have range and everything else. So they may have rushed this thing along a little bit. So that's out there. Another great vehicle that Toyota has shown off in the last couple of days. I think there'll be a full reveal on it this week, is the new Toyota 4Runner. And I'm a big fan of the 4Runner. I've had two of them, and I'm absolutely in love with the vehicle. Both of them from Burien Toyota down in Burien. And I loved everything about this vehicle, from the first one I had back in the 90s to the second one I had in the late 90s. Both of these vehicles were spectacular vehicles. They did everything you wanted them to do. They were so efficient in the snow and the ice. I mean, they did everything you wanted them to do. You knew that you were going to get to where you wanted to get in that 4Runner. There was no no doubt about it. So I'm interested to see what the Forerunner looks like. I'm interested to see what the future holds for the Forerunner. It's an iconic vehicle. It's a great vehicle, and I'm a big fan of them. Sounds like the Toyota show this morning, but they're just vehicles that really have I mean, they're bulletproof. I mean, you can go out and buy yourself a Toyota with 200,000 miles on it, expected if it's well maintained to have another 200,000 miles out of it. You're not. It's really, I don't know. It's just a good, solid vehicle. Uh, Most of the Toyotas up and down the line. You can buy an old Corolla and it's not going to fail you. I mean, it's just good cars. Just good, solid cars. And while we're talking about the electric vehicle market, the Alliance for Automotive Innovation estimates that American consumers have bought 1.4 million electric vehicles in 2023. That there are 4.3 million electric vehicles on the U.S. roads right now by registration, or a little over 1.5% of all light-duty vehicles registered in the United States. There are a total of, as of the end of last year, 159,842 public chargers in the United States. So you got 159,842 charging ports in 60,000 locations as of March 12th of this year. You have the Tesla leading the way with 24,644 chargers that are now opening up to a lot of other brands. They're making those chargers adapters available to people. 14,379 CCS combo fast chargers. So the infrastructure is getting built. Problem is, again, it's not getting built fast enough. The EVs had a sales increase of 51% in 2023. The publicly available chargers rose just 27% last year. You got to fix that. If you don't fix that, you're not going to sell electric cars. You have to make it as easy to charge an electric car as it is to go to your gas station. Matter of fact, you have to make the experience better. You have to say in an electric car, I believe, this is me, that you're getting something special by driving an electric car. I have long been an advocate of somebody, and this is a business plan I think that somebody is going to come up with and do, and I'm giving it away for free, of having charging centers where you drive up with your car, you have somebody plug the car in for you, the charging machine works, you go, you sit in the lounge, you have a cup of coffee, you read a magazine, you do some work, it has high-speed internet and everything, and you're able to relax while your vehicle is getting charged, while an attendant is cleaning your windows, checking the air in your tires, because the air in your tires is important in an electric. It's important in any car, but the proper pressure in the tires is important, more so in an electric car, to get the maximum mileage out of it, the range. And just doing an overall inspection. And I believe that if you have the gelt to go out and buy an electric car, go into a place like a charging station and paying $5 for that service if you have to, or it being baked into the charge of a charging electric car. People aren't going to be complaining because they're getting mini services done on their vehicles while they're charging. If you have a car that's captive for 30 minutes, you can do a lot with that car. In 30 minutes, you have the ability, the means to do a number of things. You have the ability to clean the windshield. Again, something that gets overlooked these days, but it was a staple of American society in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. You'd go in, you get, to check the oil, clean your windshield, wipe your lights down, and you go on your way. So you have that. You have electric vehicles use tires at a quicker rate than ICE vehicles. So you have an opportunity there to look at people's tires, check the air in them, and make suggestions. Hey, we can, we can send you over to Sammy's Tire Store, and they can put new tires on your car. You need them. This is an unsafe condition. Yada yada yada. You obviously have sales of snacks and everything else going on, and business services. If you have a situation where you have a lounge set up with, like you have in the airport, with desks and a place that somebody can work for 30 minutes, you have a place where people can relax while their cars are charging. You figure the average, how much do you spend in an average gas station? 8 minutes, 10 minutes? So if you go to a charging station, you spend 25 minutes there, but you're getting your car checked out. You're leaving not only with your car charged, but you're leaving with some confidence that your tires are good, that your windshield is clean, which again is a service that you can see. You can look at that and say that that's a service that I'm benefiting from right away. It's just a thought on how more people can get involved in electric cars. The biggest thing is range and charging machines. That's what's going to win the day for electric. But also the fact of service, non-existent in our society today. People, when they come across good service, are shocked. How shocked would you be when you go in to fill up at a place and the service station wipes your windshield, cleans your windshield for you? You'd be stunned. You'd be absolutely stunned. You'd think the guy was putting something on your windshield. Anyway, it's again, you're looking at something that I dream about, that I look at, and I say to myself, how do you get the public to accept clean energy? Well, you make a benefit for them. You make it beneficial for them. And just like you had to get people to accept smelly gasoline. We forget that gasoline used to stink. Still does. But we forget how the aroma of lead and everything like that. And yet, because you went to a place and they looked to check your tires, I looked at some of these old gas station films. And I remember them from when I was a kid. And the key thing that they always sold you was service. What brings somebody back? Service. What makes somebody comfortable? Knowing your dealer. Knowing that your dealer is going to be honest and they're going to be able to steer you in the right direction. Whence you need something. Not hard to figure out. Anyway, those are some of the things that we saw in this past week, and that we're driving this week. And you can always find more on our Facebook pages, which is at Drivetime TV and Radio in the on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube. We have been doing some maintenance on our YouTube channel, but we're going to be uploading a ton of reviews and stuff to that channel, so we will get that kind of straightened out for you, and you'll be able to go there and look at past shows, this show. You can find us there. We would really love it if you go there to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe to our channel. We will be putting more content up there for you so that you can find things during the week that you like. And we always appreciate you taking a few minutes to to keep an eye on what we're doing. We drive cars every week so that we can suggest to you, and also if you are of the mind of you're starting to think about buying a car and you're a bit lost as to how do I make this a good experience, shoot me an email, Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com, and we are here to help you buy your next car. If you need somebody to kind of advise you along the way, point you in the right direction, show you the resources that are out there so you don't get screwed in the deal. I make it my business to watch all of these things and study all of these different trends in the business so that if you want to buy a car, you're up here and see wherever you are. If you want to buy a car, you want some advice, you're trying to figure out what kind of car is good for me. Will an electric work for me? Do I still have to stick with gas? Will a hybrid work for me? A plug-in hybrid? To help you cut through all of that confusion. A lot of the places that are on the internet that will give you a great price for a car and this, that. They'll give you the price for the car and everything, a good price for a car, and we can point you in that right direction. But what kind of car do you need? That's what people don't help you with, and you have to sit down. You have to figure out what because it's not a straight up market anymore. If you go to buy a car these days, there are several things that you have to consider. Not just the resale value of the car, not just whether I should buy or should I lease, but what car fits my lifestyle. What car is going to be aligned with what I believe is the right thing to do. What kind of car do I need? What will be the best transaction for me? Should I pay cash? Should I finance? Should I do this? Should I do that? What works out the best for you? And where is the market right now? So that if I need to go out and buy a car, I don't have all this time to look at the car market and analyze it, but I do. And I will. And I will help you with it. I'd be happy to. So get in contact with me if you're thinking about buying a car, and we'll see if we can help you out. See if we can make it an easier experience for you. All right. That's going to put another one of these shows in the books. I thank you so much for listening. We were going to review, we were supposed to review the Honda this week, but somehow, again, the technical difficulties has bit me. So the Honda Ridgeline review, we'll add it to next week's show. We will put it up on the internet prior to the show. So if you're dying to know what I thought about the Honda Ridgeline, go to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook channel tomorrow, and you will see the review up there. And then we will do it live for you next week, as well as all of our reviews, the Tundra, the Audi, one of the best cars I drove all year, that Audi Q8 e-tron. Man, what a car that was. And we're also going to add a few other things next week, too. Something, a new idea that somebody gave me this week. I thought about it and I said, that would be kind of a groovy thing to do. And that is go back and look at some of the older reviews that we've done and show you those as well. In 30 years of doing this, I reviewed some very interesting cars that are no longer with us, but yet were in their day a great car. We'll review that and give you some of that drive time action as well. All right, thank you so much to everybody. Let me remind you that my good friend George Jackson does advertising specialties. So if you need anything for your store, your business, your radio station, whatever it is that you do promotional items around, my friend George Jackson at George Jackson Promotions, he's on the web, he's on Facebook and all of the different social media channels, is the guy to talk to. Good price, keeps his promises, doesn't give you a call that, oh my God, I couldn't get it or I forgot about it, I got this, I got that. George is number one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and number two, promises. When he promises you something, he gets it done. You're not going to be sitting with your hand on your butt at some point, going, "Well, the guy promised me those things would be there, and here's our opening day." George tells you it's going to be there. It's going to be there, and if he can't do it, he will tell you as well. A very rare commodity in life these days. All right, enjoy the eclipse if you're in the position to see it, and I will catch up with you next week if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Have a good week. Wear your seatbelt. Drive safe, and try to find somebody you don't know to be nice to. It'll shock the living crap out of them. They don't know what the heck is happening. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you listening. Catch up with you on Monday morning with Mikey right here on the Golden V Broadcasting Network. Have a good one.